Real Access Motivates Progress live Wednesday night podcast. Excuse the way I sound tonight. I am 1 week post TIA, which is a mini stroke. So my aphasia is still kicking in. But as I say, the show must go on. So I have great guests that will fill in for where I'm leaving off tonight. So without further ado, we are talking about Accessibility is Beautiful 2023. And we are so excited. It is 1 month from today. So welcome from the Steelyard, Lucia and Howie. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hi, Tina.
Hi. Hey, Tina. Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're
I'm so excited. We're going to start off for those who may not know you. Howie, tell everybody who you are and what you do.
sure. My name's Howie. I use he, him pronouns. I'm the executive director of the Steelyard, and we are an arts organization that teaches welding, blacksmithing, ceramics, jewelry, and the foundry arts, all accessible programs, and encourage everyone in the community to come learn and practice the industrial arts with us at the Steelyard. We also produce a line of functional public art, and Lucia can tell you a little more about that. But it's one of the best things that we do at the yard, trying to make all spaces around the community accessible and training people to do it at the same time.
So excited. Lucia, tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Sure. My name's Lucia Paralak. I use she, they pronouns. I am the client relations manager for public projects. So, as Howie said, public projects is a part of the Steelyard that makes amenities anyone to use. We work with municipalities and small businesses and individuals to create basically anything that can be used by the public. So we do bike racks, we do benches, we do fences, all sorts of things, mostly made out of metal. Sometimes we incorporate other materials. But basically our goal is to beautify the outdoors so people can have really nice amenities that they can use. We also run a workforce training program, which is really special. And that helps folks who face barriers to employment to learn how to weld and do so in an environment that's really creative.
And
So,
you
yeah,
also
that's what
make
we do.
Tina's tables. Don't forget that.
No, we'll never forget. We make Tina's tables, and we just finished making 4 of them, and they're really
Yay.
special. Yeah, I could describe that project a little bit if you want, or I don't know if you want to save that for later, but
Yeah, no, we're going to get into that a little bit later.
okay,
But
sounds good.
Howie, I would like you to tell everybody how we became to be such great partners.
You know, the Steelyard has been a place, our founders from the very early days of the Steelyard wanted it to be a place where anyone could learn and learn about and experience the industrial arts. So a few years ago, we were doing some renovations to our studio, um, and we were introduced to you. I think actually I heard you speak up at a an event that the city was having about accessible nightlife, and the stories that and the questions you asked about how to make nighttime entertainment and restaurants accessible to everyone really inspired me to invite you and Ramp in to help us understand how we could make our studios accessible to everyone. So you Tina was able to come in and do a free consultation and a roll through with us to help provide input into the renovations we made so that we could include ramps and handrails and add an accessible office space, um, and make sure that jewelry, welding, ceramics all had accessibility in mind as part of the design of their program. So it was really amazing to get that consultation, that free consultation, honestly, that led to a lot of investments we've made since, to provide access to the community.
And ever since then, they never got rid of me because I love the place so much. And I was also their first welding student in a wheelchair, which I'm very excited about.
It's true.
So, yeah, so we had all of that. And then Tina's table came to play. So here's now where Lucia could say a little bit about that project.
Yeah, so the first Tina's table we completed last May, I believe it was. And we had a big unveiling down at Kennedy Plaza. That was really great. But Tina's table is really special because it was designed with, along with Tina, we designed it to basically be accessible to folks in wheelchairs, and also it's made to look as though everyone who's sitting at the table is in a wheelchair. If you look at it from the side, it looks as though whoever's sitting on the bench is also in a wheelchair. So it just kind of draws awareness to accessibility, and also kind of um, just kind of brings everyone together at the table.
Yeah,
And yeah,
I
did you
think
want to say something about that?
one of the things, if I could add, Lucia, that Lucia and
Mhm.
Tim in our public projects department does is we create custom pieces. So, you know, when someone hires us to make a picnic table, we can make a picnic table that doesn't just function, but also expresses an idea. And I think Tina came up with this idea that the table could be in accessible space where everyone could have a seat at the table together. Um, but designing it, you know, we made it colorful and fun and sort of made a sculptural version of these wheelchairs that also is a pretty serious technical challenge for us to build. And I think the trainees and the folks who worked on it had a really great time sort of bringing these sculptural picnic tables to life. And Tina did come down and weld to sign her name on the first table, which I think, you know, gives it a really special mark. And that's part of what we like about doing custom projects for the community is we can sort of add that layer of meaning. And we're not just a manufacturer. We're your manufacturer. We're the local collaborative artists.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm so excited about this table and watching it come to life and unveiling it on my 50th birthday. Yes, I just gave my age out to everybody, but last May we unveiled it by accident on my 50th birthday, which was pretty cool. And now we're building tables across Rhode Island and getting them into all cities and towns to make a statement piece, but also having a piece where everybody is included, where everybody has a seat at the table, everybody feels special when they're sitting at Tina's table. So we're very excited about that. And it also led to this great event. So here we go to Howie again. Howie, tell everybody how Accessibility is Beautiful came to life.
Well, Accessibility is Beautiful is absolutely one of my favorite events every year at the Steelyard. It is a joyful event. It's an event that brings together people from lots of different skills, from diverse life experiences to celebrate accessibility, art, and the Steelyard and the craft community. I think really um, has a great role in it. So there's an art market, um, people selling their work, doing poetry readings and comedy and performance. And also, we give free tours of the Steelyard so that anyone who's coming to the event can learn how they can sort of get involved if they're interested in trying one of the trades or the crafts that we teach at the Steelyard. And this year, I'm really excited to announce tonight that we're going to have free hands-on training or hands-on samplers of both ceramics and metalwork for anyone who comes to the event. They'll be able to put on a smock and use the ADA accessible wheelchair, put their hands in the mud and learn a little bit about ceramics and try on a welding mask and get a demonstration of metalworking and some of the equipment that we use to make it safe and accessible to everyone. So that's going to be our education department has worked really hard and hired 2 teachers to show up that day and help guide those hands-on experiences. So it should be a lot of fun.
Oh, I'm so excited. I just found that out myself tonight. So that was the big unveil. I'm so excited. It gets bigger and better each year. We have tons of vendors. Most of our vendors are of the disability community or a relationship to. All of our entertainment is of the disability community or a relation to. And we bring in businesses, networking. It's the networking event. If you're a resource, come on down, bring your cards, but you got to walk around and talk to somebody, not standing behind a table handing out stuff. We'll
Mhm.
say it nicely. So it's a networking, it's food trucks, it's entertainment. We have bands and comedians and dancing and so much more. We have the vendor show, we have the demos, we have the tours. There's nothing at this event that doesn't happen. We also have a specialty kids corner where all the kids get to interact at the kids corner for free.
Mhm.
So everything is free at this event. You can purchase these amazing t-shirts. We have orange this year. $10 helps support the cause and keeps us going. For every business that registers, you get entered to win a free ramp. We've given 2 out so far. This is our 3rd year. It'll be our 3rd ramp. And all of our state officials will be there and then some. I will leave the then some as the surprise when you show up. And it's a big then some. So make sure you show up so you don't miss it.
Yeah, and Tina, something you said just reminded me, the networking. Lucia, as part of the public projects department, has been going all over the state for the last 2 years, working with different cities and towns and hearing about their needs and their wants. And Lucia, I wonder if you can speak to any of how city and towns are thinking about accessibility and what the conversations have been like as you've been out there sort of selling public art.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I would say that in general, we've been getting tons of requests for jobs, mostly because people are spending more time outdoors and in parks and in all sorts of different public spaces, especially post-COVID or, since COVID began. But so one thing is like making parks more accessible, and it's been really important for parks to have places for people to sit and places for people to eat and things like that. So we've been doing actually quite a few picnic tables. We've also had some special requests specifically for ADA tables, um, even for children. I've gotten actually a few calls specifically for people looking for tables, ADA accessible tables for playgrounds and things like
Mm.
that. So it's been really interesting and eye opening to just hear about the need for ADA accessibility in our public spaces. It's like really quite overwhelming. It's needed everywhere. Um, and it's great that we're getting so many requests. There was a specific example that comes to mind. A mother who was starting um, a park, a local park for her child who has a disability to enjoy along with other children, asked for an ADA accessible table and also needed some added amenities such as um, a hanger for a feeding tube and a shelf that would
Mhm.
um, hold a machine that her daughter required for
Mhm.
feeding. So we're learning about all the different needs there are. And yeah, it's been really great to be able to help people have an opportunity to use all these amenities.
Yeah, I thought it was very cool that we put a dog hitch on the Tina's
Mhm.
table. Tina's love of dogs, her incredible pack helped inspire that, but also the fact that a lot of people have either service dogs or just companion dogs that come with them
Right.
to public places, and they want to help give them a secure spot too. So I guess that's part of the fun of building things custom is that we can approach those opportunities. And we've also, I know, Lucia, you've also been doing a lot of we'll give free estimates to anyone, but we do a lot of grant support as well, help provide the language so that people can apply for the funding, or that cities and towns can help try to find the funding to support these public accessibility goals.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's really important to us that everyone has an opportunity to have their project made or at least give it a good shot. So yeah, so we do hear about a lot of grant opportunities, and we're always happy to share that information and help folks apply to those grants for their projects.
Speaking of grant opportunities, we were just granted a wonderful opportunity where we had all 38, 39 cities and towns apply for a Tina's table, and we were able to pick 4 out of the 39 cities and towns that applied. So we're excited to announce that East Providence, Pawtucket, Smithfield, and Deerfield Park, and my favorite, the Bristol Veterans Home, will be receiving a Tina's table. Lucia, you want to say a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so that was really exciting. We actually recently in our studio we were working on these 4 tables, and they have gone on to the next process of fabrication, which is the finishing process. So they're almost ready to be distributed, and they're going to be distributed to those locations in early September. And hopefully there will be ribbon cutting events, so look out for that. But yeah, that's been a really great project. Our team loved working on those, and they looked great. We're really excited about it.
Do you know what colors they are, or what color they're getting powder coated?
Blue.
Blue.
They're going to be a nice blue.
Okay.
They're going to
And
be
they have
pretty blue.
wooden tops, right?
Well, except
Yes.
for the Veterans Home, we're not going to give away. It's a little bit special because of the veterans it's going to. So we're going to leave that for a surprise when we do the ribbon cuttings in early September.
Mhm.
But another big project that I like to, and I got involved in last year, and I was so glad I did with the Steelyard, is your fall event. Howie, can you tell everybody a little bit about that?
Sure. There's a lot of events at the yard, and we do take a lot of pride in sort of keeping an accessible space. There's a lot of great, there's hard surfaces at the yard. There's a lot of different ways that we try to accommodate folks who come out to events. And you can read more about accessibility at the Steelyard on our website. We actually have an accessibility guide, so people can see and read about it before you get to the Steelyard in case you have any questions about parking or accommodations, etc. But the big event that we do every fall, our SimsAv block party and iron pour, has grown leaps and bounds over the years. It's our 20th anniversary, I think our 17th annual iron pour, and we do a performance fire and industrial arts event in front of a live audience of thousands of people that we fit on our 4-acre site. And we use iron to light big sculptures on fire. And there's no other way to say it. We're sort of modeling industrial careers. People are wearing actual safety gear and working with actual liquid metal in front of a crowd. So it's a great way to see what it looks like to be an industrial worker, or sort of get a sense of, I always say there's no kid, bring your kid to the foundry day, so a lot of people come to the Steelyard to see that. And it's just a big, great way to get to meet and see your neighbors and experience the industrial arts in a totally upfront way. Lucia, what do you think about the iron pour? You've been a couple of times now, right?
Yeah, well, actually, last year was my first one, and it was a really unique one. So and it was unique because we opened it to the public, whereas before I think it was a fundraiser. Is that right?
Yeah, it used to be
Um,
ticketed, and this year
yeah,
in going forward, it is an all-free block party that we're looking
yeah.
for sponsors to help provide that opportunity to the community.
hmm Yeah, so last year was really great. There were so many people and everyone was having a really good time. There's so much more to it too than just the iron pour, because we kind of got the whole street involved, and it turned into this big party where there was music, there were vendors, artist vendors. Um, it was just great. It was really exciting. I'm so excited to see what happens this year.
I got to come to some of the volunteer nights where they actually put the sculptures together, and it was so much fun watching the sculptures. You thought you knew what it was going to look like, and then they pivoted and it looked like something else. It was incredible. If you haven't been, you have to go, because it's literally magical to
Oh,
watch, and then to watch all of this hard work melt in minutes. It's really cool.
yeah, no, and you're right. The volunteer nights are very cool. we are looking specifically for folks who have some skills, some knowledge of safety and welding or fabrication to come volunteer. I think it's Wednesday nights every week from now until October 21st. And towards the end, we'll be putting out a call for anyone in the community who wants to come volunteer to do paper mache and decorations and help us set up the yard. It is just a really fun art party and a great way to get involved. And, you know, it's open to people of all ages. I mean, I love the fact that there are young adults in our community who grew up going to the Iron Pour every year, and that this has become a real family tradition. And making it free and accessible economically to the community has been a big, I think, has been a big win for everyone.
I can't remember how many pumpkins I carved myself last year. It
Oh,
was
yeah.
like never ending.
That's true. Oh, we got to get another
Right,
barrel
I
of
remember
pumpkins.
that. Yeah.
I feel like a pumpkin now with my orange shirt. So see, it's a tribute to all of those pumpkins I carved. But it was
Sure.
so much fun to do that. Um,
Mhm.
so let's get back a little bit to accessibility. What can people expect from the Steelyard side, other than the few things that you said? Like, what is the draw, and why should people come?
Well, I mean, the Steel Yard, for those who haven't been, is just a beautiful outdoor oasis in the middle of Providence. It's a very green space. We're just a few feet from the banks of the Woonasquatucket River, um, and it's a really gorgeous site that has a lot of beautiful plantings and sculptures and artwork, and you can see a lot of examples of work done by and for the community on the campus. And you can visit any day. Our gates are open. It's kind of like a guide yourself sculpture park sort of thing. But when it comes to life with the accessibility community, it just becomes a celebration. And um, you know, there'll be a lot of great activities and throughout the day. I'm particularly excited about the ceramics demonstrations. You know, it's not every ceramic school that has an ADA ceramic wheel where we can raise and lower it so that people with different abilities can use it. And it turns out that's also a great benefit for a lot of people who have back problems um, or other physical limitations, that in the studio it's become an adjustable wheel that a lot of people use as a standing wheel as well, so they don't have to hunch over. Um, but I'm really just excited that people are going to get their hands into the material and try it for free. And you know, I hope that that encourages people to sign up for classes and really take advantage of the programs we have, and not think that just because it's an industrial arts class, it's not for you. Whether you're afraid of fire or you think that, you know, your abilities are going to be a challenge, you know, we want to try to figure that out so that you can get an experience there. So I think this event should really encourage that. Lucia, what are you looking forward
Yeah.
to?
Well, I just wanted to add to that yeah, I think everyone should know that our classes are open to anyone, and you should definitely sign up or even apply for our scholarships. We have scholarships for classes. So everything can be found on our website. But then also, I just wanted to mention that we just started having a regular tour scheduled each week. So on Wednesdays at noon, you can come by the Steel Yard, and there will be someone there who will be giving a tour. So if you want to come and check out, you know, just how accessible our space is, that's a good opportunity to do that.
That's true.
Now,
Tina, you should come
Howard,
host.
you mentioned a
Yeah.
good thing is, when you got the accessible wheel, how it benefited other people. And
Mhm.
that's the whole point of this entire event. When you make something accessible for all, everybody can use it. Even people you weren't expecting to be able to use it can now use it. I mean, I was scared to death when you guys were putting me in that iron get up, and I still had my crown on, so we still made that work. But I was scared to death. I'm like, what are you doing to me? The layers and stuff. But oh my God, I had so much fun learning how to weld that I never thought I would be able to do. But what an experience. Now people can sign up, be an apprenticeship, and help make Tina's tables. So how cool is that, full circle, that you're making a table to help disabled people that disabled people work on.
No, absolutely. And I think that's one of the great aspects of our job training programs is that people get to give back. So while trainees are being paid to learn in our studio, they're making bike racks, benches, picnic tables, things that go back out to their community. So it changes the way people move through a neighborhood. You know, everyone wants to stop by this park to visit that bike rack that they made when they were in welding class, and gives people, you know, a real sense of pride. And it's also paying work. I mean, these are careers that these are growing industries in the community and across the country. They're skills that you can bring with you anywhere. And so we make a point of paying everyone from trainees all the way through apprenticeships and our studio staff, so that artists and people who are giving their skills to build things can be compensated for it, and sort of take care of themselves and feed their families. You know, that it's not just volunteer work. This is a way that people really support their community.
So, Howie, I'm going to let you do the pleasure of telling everybody all of the details, date, time, place of Accessibility is Beautiful.
Okay. Um, it is September 23rd, 1 month from today, correct?
Yes,
Okay, 1 month from today. Um, it's going to be 2 to 6 p.m.
11 to 5.
I was close. 11 to 5. And there's going to be activities throughout that entire uh, period. The Steel Yard is located, I should have said much earlier, at 27 Sims Ave in Providence, kind of near the Waterfire Arts Center and Farm Fresh Food Hall, not that far from the mall in downtown Providence, out along the river. It's a really beautiful place. There's a lot of parking in the neighborhood. There's accessible parking across the street, and we'll have accessible parking up and down the street for that day as well to make sure that there's room for everybody. Um,
No,
yeah,
and the nice thing is we're working with Farm Fresh as well, which is a fully accessible space, which is a beautiful space. And I'll tell you, when you see it during the day, when it's the farmers market, to when you see them transform it to an event, it's like a completely different place. So there will be vendors over there as well from 11 to 1. And then we lose that space because they're having a big event there. But you can go and check out Farm Fresh while you're at the event because it's part of our event this year. And there's also Wright's Ice Cream. So you will, if you can't find me, you will find me there because that is probably my new favorite place where I can get ice cream. And it's now right across the street from my actual favorite place is the Steel Yard. We will have music, comedy, spoken word. Our politicians will be talking amongst others. You will
and
hear
we'll
from all walks of life.
and one thing that I love about Accessibility is Beautiful is the positivity. You know, the the belief among the entire crowd that accessibility is possible, and is and that we can build our cities and our environments to something that everyone can take part in. And I think that positive attitude is something that Tina and Ramp takes really seriously, and it just shows in the way that event comes together.
It's so much fun because people count us out or they don't realize how much they can do. And then they come to a day like this where all of our vendors are disabled, our entertainment is disabled, and you would not know it other than the fact that the ones that are in the walkers, the wheelchairs, like the physical disabilities, but there's
Mhm.
so many invisible disabilities that you would never know. And you're inspired to get to know higher and be in every aspect of your life because 40% of Rhode Islanders use a mobility aid. People don't realize how high that number is until they show up at an event like this and have a big block party and excitement through it all.
Well, and we will have Tina's Table will be there, and so you'll get to see and experience that firsthand. We'll have examples of lots of other artwork that we've made and everything. You know, I think for people to get to see inside our studio is also really just an experience on its own. There's example of ceramics and jewelry, um, and metalworking throughout the building. And Lucia, I don't know if you could share a little too about like what are some of the highlights of the studio to you? I mean, I know you give a lot of tours. What do you
Mhm.
what do you look forward to when you go in there?
Um, well, the studio is a really magical place. It's just like there's always so much energy in there, and I love just walking around pretty much any day of the week. There's always something going on. I am partial to the jewelry studio because I make jewelry, so I kind of know my way around those tools a little bit better than any other part of the studio. And we do have an accessible jewelry bench, so that's something that has gotten a lot of use and has been really, really helpful. I've worked at that bench before, and it's great. Um, so yeah, I would say, I mean, our ceramic studio is absolutely beautiful. There's so much light in there, and it's really nice, a really nice place to be. Um, and the welding, the blacksmithing, there's just so much. There's so much that you can learn in there, and there's so much
Hmm.
always going on. So we also
Yeah.
have something that, or sorry, just really quick, I just wanted to mention that we have on all of our equipment, we have little QR codes right now. So you could simply scan the QR code and then find a video of how to use that piece of equipment. So it just makes it even easier for anyone to access those tools.
Well, and I was just going to mention some of my favorite classes. We have a weekend welding workshop, which is a 2 day class. You show up Saturday morning, you spend the day Saturday learning some of the safety and some of the equipment, and you spend the day Sunday practicing it all. And by the end of that 2 days, you know the basics to be able to go in the shop, not hurt yourself, not hurt others, and experiment and build some cool things that you want. There's some great jewelry classes that we've done from sweetheart ring making classes where you come with someone else and sort of, you know, make rings together and learn how to work with silver and copper and brass. Um, or we recently had enameling classes as well, where people are learning how to sort of bake glass onto a metal surface, and it's great for making brooches um, or other sort of decorative jewelry. Although in some ways the jewelry department at the Steelyard is not just for jewelry, it's not just body ornamentation. Sometimes it's just the little sculpture department. And I think
Yeah.
that's really cool to see that people make a lot of keepsakes and really special pieces there as well.
The Steelyard is a magical place, and I've always said it's my favorite place in Rhode Island. Anytime I'm out and about, that is my favorite go-to place in Rhode Island. Everybody there is fabulous, so welcoming, so helpful. You got to just check it out. So September 23rd, 11 to 5, 27 Sims Avenue in Providence. It is a must. It is the best event of Rhode Island. And it's also part of PVD Fest. We are also sponsored by PVD Fest. So Ramp will be doing the accessibility at PVD Fest the 8th, 9th, and 10th of September. And then our event is part of that on the 23rd. You can click the link in the comments and register for free. Yes, we said it, for free. And if you're a business, enter your business to win a free ramp for your business. Everybody gets an assessment, and again, for free. So if you buy these sexy t-shirts for $10, we also will be raffling off an Apple iPad that was donated to us that we will be raffling off during Accessibility is Beautiful to help us raise money to keep going. So many reasons to come. Howie, give us your 1 minute wrap up of why they should come.
Accessibility is beautiful. I guess it's all in the name. It really is. It's going to be a great event. September is a beautiful time for the weather at the Steelyard. Everything is going to be blooming and lush, and there's just going to be a really enthusiastic community there celebrating the industrial arts and accessibility. And we can't wait to show off some of the best work that we do, which is really with the accessibility community. So thank you, Tina, for having me tonight. I can't wait.
Oh, can't wait. Lucia, give us your 1 minute wrap up of why people should come.
Well, I think everyone should come because it's going to be really, really fun. There's going to be a ton of people there. There are going to be vendors. There's going to be music, comedy, all sorts of stuff. The iPad raffle sounds really exciting. That's awesome. Also, yeah, like how he said, September is a really great time to hang out outside of the yard. And also, it's a great opportunity to come and get a tour, see how accessible our space is, and talk to people who work at the Steel Yard like us about how to take a class or how to get involved. And it sounds like you're going to meet all sorts of people from different organizations there. So
Yeah.
it's
This
coming
is a
together of all
yeah.
sorts of things.
This is a family-friendly event, so make sure you bring your kids of all ages because there's tons of stuff for all ages to do, and it gets them involved with the disability community where it's non-judgmental, it's non-scary, it's they can ask, touch, feel anything at the Steel Yard, at the event, at the people that are there are very open and welcoming. It's a great space to introduce yourself to the disability community in a fun, interesting way that you never expected to see them before. So September 23rd, 11 to 5, 27 Sims Avenue. Register for free and come see all three of us. Will be at the event that day, and we're excited to host you. Thank you both so much for joining me tonight.
Thank you, Tina.
Thank you for
It's
having
always
us.
a pleasure.
And as I always say to everybody, join us next week, same time, same channel. We'll be talking to Shorthands with a special guest host, Diana Perkins, one of my board members, will be guest hosting that event next week because unfortunately I have some medical things I need to take care of. So she's going to fill in for me. So I am ready for the big event. And as I always say, don't just sit there, make a difference. Have a great night, everyone.